Chocolate chip cookies are a symbol of comfort and tradition in American culture. They bring together generations of Americans with joy and with comfort and nostalgia too. Chocolate chip cookies were invented in 1938 by Ruth Wakefield at the Toll House Inn in Massachusetts, and they were actually invented by accident. At the Toll House Inn, Ruth was creating and serving every day these butterscotch cookies, and she thought, I want to do a change, I want something different. And so she decided to put some chocolate chunks into the cookies, and she thought, these will melt into the cookies and we'll have dark chocolate cookies. But that didn't happen. What happened was, as we all know today, the chocolate melts, but it doesn't run into the cookie. It sits and holds its shape. And then when you take them out and they cool down, you have those chunks of cookies. So initially they were called Toll House Chocolate Crunch cookies. Now, Ruth Wakefield's chocolate chunk cookies, chocolate crunch cookies recipe is available all over the internet, so I'm not making that today. In fact, Toll House actually bought the recipe and put it on all of their packets in return for giving Ruth chocolate for the rest of her life. Yummy! So today I'm going to be making the chocolate chip cookies that I used to make for Prince William and Harry when they were young boys in the royal nursery and would come home from school at Kensington Palace. The secret to a good cookie is we want it crunchy, crispy on the outside, and we want it gooey and soft and chocolatey and moist on the inside. That's the perfect cookie. We also want a nice caramel flavor in there too. Sorry, I'm in the United States. Caramel. The brown sugar actually does that because brown sugar actually has a little molasses in there. And so a combination of the white sugar and the brown sugar will give us the perfect cookie. So I start off by adding some butter and my 2 sugars to the mixing bowl. And I'm just going to cream those until they're nice and light and fluffy. Once it's started creaming, it does tend to go all the way up the side of the bowl. So just have a spatula handy, just to push it all back down again. And now I'm going to add my eggs. And now beat it again until they're all combined. Next I'm going to add a little vanilla. And finally the dry ingredients. For my dry ingredients I have my flour and some baking soda, a little salt, and mix all of that in together. The vanilla, you can use the cheap, nasty, synthetic vanilla bean extract, but we use that for stripping the walls with paint at home. It's nasty, not really, but it's nasty. So I use the pure vanilla bean extract. I'll put a link to it on Amazon if you want to order some. It's not expensive, but you can probably pick some up at your local store. But don't use the artificial flavoring, use the pure vanilla bean. Next, I'm going to add my chocolate. Now you can add the little morsels, the chocolate chip morsels, the chocolate chips. You can do milk chocolate, dark chocolate, but I'm going with the chocolate chunks. And just lightly mix those in, stir them in to the cookie mix. Next, I've greased a couple of cookie sheets, and I use one of the little ice cream scoops. If you don't have one, you can just use a spoon, or just use a spoon and roll into some balls. But they are quite sticky, so you need a little flour on your hands. But for me, I like to just scoop them up and drop them onto the tray. And spread them apart because the mix does run. At this size, you're going to get about 24 cookies out of them, and I'll just push them down with my fingers. And into the oven, 375 degrees for about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. Once they come out of the oven, they're going to be nice and golden brown on top, but they're still soft, so you can't pick them up right away. You need to leave them, let them set for about 5 minutes or so, a little bit longer, and then they're just going to be perfect. Crispy on the outside, nice and fluffy and light and moist on the inside. Just the best chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chunk cookies that I used to make for Prince William and Harry at Kensington Palace. Try them at home, double the recipe. They'll be gone in minutes. Just look. Crispy, crunchy on the outside, and then when you break into them, oh my goodness, look at that. Big chunks of chocolate, nice and soft still in the center, and they taste amazing. Not too sweet. I want a glass of milk before bedtime. Hope you make these at home. Give me a thumbs up. Leave your recipe in the description below. Tell me your favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your friends. We're almost at 400,000 subscribers. See you again soon. Nostalgia. I mean, cookies and milk.